Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We are heading back into r/AmITheDevil, and if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And if you guys would like to save 10% on your next order of gamer subs, I am partnered with gamer subs actually. Use code Tommy at checkout or click the link down below. Accused my husband of cheating and said something hurtful, and it was all a misunderstanding. How do I fix this? I, 27F, have been married to my husband, 29M, for a little over 2 years, and we have a 15-month-old daughter, and we are hoping for baby number 2. My husband is amazing. I just feel so loved and at peace with him. A few months ago, my husband told me that a female coworker had been hitting on him and asking to hang out and grab lunch sometime, and that he had turned him down. She knew that he's married and has a toddler, but tried her luck anyway. I had basically forgotten about it until I met her at one of my husband's work events, and she tried to belittle me and made a few personal attacks as jokes. My husband offered to report her to his company's HR when this happened, and I told him not to, and I just trusted him, but expected that he would only interact with her for work purposes. This week, my husband was on a work trip, and that coworker was also there. He told me beforehand, and just made him promise that he wouldn't hang out with her alone, or go to a bar if she was around. I made it clear to him that I love and trust him more than anything, but I don't trust anyone else, especially his coworker, and he promised. Call it intuition or whatever. On his last night there, after he called me and we talked for a while, he said that he was going to a dinner at a specific restaurant. I checked his location, and it said that he wasn't there and was at some local bar instead. He was there for an hour before going back to the hotel, and immediately I thought the worst. I called him, and he was back at the hotel, and he said that dinner plans had changed, and they went to a different restaurant. I told him I knew he was lying, and this was the last chance to admit the truth. He was adamant that he was telling the truth, and I was so sure that there was something suspicious going on, and I accused him of cheating, and I said something completely unrelated about something in his past to hurt him. He told me that the restaurant they went to had a bar right on top of it, so that's why his location showed at the bar, and I told him I'm still insecure about the coworker and apologized for not trusting him and talking it out and for what I said. He didn't really react much, and he said he had to sleep and that was it. I thought that it was okay, but when I called before he got back on his flight, he seemed disinterested in talking to me, and when he got home, he was indifferent to me. No bear hug, no passionate kiss, not even a smile. He just picked up our daughter, played with her for a little until we put her to sleep, and when I tried to talk to him, he just said that there was no point in talking. He's been pretty much ignoring me ever since he got back, and I really messed up by accusing him when he did everything right, and for what I said. Truly, I didn't mean for this to happen, and I was so convinced something was up. Otherwise, I would never have reacted like this. How can I fix this? There's nothing anyone can say that I haven't already said to myself. I know I made the terrible mistake, and I just want to make things right for my husband. TLDR, accused husband of cheating with a coworker and said something really terrible about his past. Later found out that it was a misunderstanding and apologized. He shut down and asking how to make things right. Okay, first off, you don't go for marriage counseling on Reddit. That's already a stupid decision. But also, let's take this into consideration here. Your husband was already ready and asking to report the person for trying to make these comments towards them to HR before. Do you really think that that was just some lie to get you to not suspect that they were cheating or anything? Because if that's the case, you very much need to reevaluate your relationship and all this stuff, because something is very much not adding up here. Then also, I've seen in a lot of instances that in those cases where the person is super eager to accuse the significant other of cheating, they're usually the one that winds up cheating in the relationship. Would I be the a-hole for leaving my girlfriend after she had a fetus deletus without telling me? This is going to be a long one, so sorry in advance. M28, F28, this story has two parts to it. The first being where I was giving her the cold shoulder because one of our dogs, yes, I'm the a-hole in this part, and the second where she had the deletion without telling me. And sorry if I jump around, and hope y'all can follow my train of thought. Background on the dog, that is going to be the topic of the next paragraph. Our dog, Abby, was a stray that we rescued, and when she was 6 months to a year old, this dog was literally on the brink of death, and the vet said one more day and this dog probably would not have been alive. My mother found her, and while we were trying to find her a new home, my girlfriend told me how beautiful she was, and that she felt that we should keep her. I didn't really want to because I already had a dog, but the things you do for love. A girlfriend and I didn't live together at this time, so it would really fall on me to take care of her. Anyways, I decided that based on how much my girlfriend was asking, I'd keep the dog. So, the only reason that we had this dog is because of her. Fast forward 5 years, the girlfriend and I move in together, and I bring my 2 dogs, Labradors, with me, and 6 months later, we got a Yorkie together, so 3 dogs total now. One thing to know about me is that I love my dogs like my own child. After 5 years, these are my dogs through and through. Fast forward 3 months again, and we've had 2 Labs and a Yorkie for 3 months at this point, so no issues. We were taking care of my girlfriend's parents. In-laws are short, Yorkie. So we had the in-laws Yorkie for a full week, and on the very last day, the Yorkie got out of the backyard in between my girlfriend's feet, and one of our Labs attacked her, and she ultimately succumbed to her injuries for a couple of days. I was not there, and my girlfriend witnessed the whole thing, and literally had to pry the Yorkie out of the mouth of the Lab. I am very sympathetic to the trauma that this may have caused because there's no way this wasn't extremely violent to watch. If you don't know about dogs, one very important thing is that you introduce them properly in a calm setting to avoid the altercation. Against my better judgment, my girlfriend convinced me that it was best just to keep the dogs away from each other, and I agreed that thinking everything would be okay since the big dogs are outside and only come to sleep in her kennels at night, easy enough, so I thought. Another thing to note is that this dog has never displayed any aggression like this before, so this came as a surprise to both of us. The day after the incident, I put Abby in boarding and training so that my girlfriend could be away from her, and we could calm down from what had happened. At my expense, $5,000 for a month. My girlfriend, however, said that I needed to get my dog this singled out because it was a point of contention, a new home. They were our dogs, and she even says the other dog that didn't attack is our dog still. But somehow Abby is now my dog. I digress, and this time I told her that we needed to go to a training session with Abby so that she could make the decision if this is really what she wanted me to do. This started a whole other fight. We went to the training, but she sat in the car and didn't participate, didn't even give the dog a chance. So I reluctantly rehomed the dog with my mom. Thankfully, she was willing to do me the favor, even though she has 3 big dogs. And though she was not very happy with me, but she did it anyway because she didn't want the dog to just get put down. This was a 2-week process, and in this time, I was giving my girlfriend the cold shoulder because I didn't agree with her stance on the matter of things that were still up in the air with my mom. I admit, 2 weeks is a long time, and by cold shoulder, I mean we were essentially just roommates. I'd still do my part, but we weren't interacting very much. And after the 2 weeks and everything was settled with the dog, I let up and returned to normal and got over it. No passive-aggressive comments, no guilt-tripping, no lingering resentment, just completely back to normal. I know that this is a little psychopathic, that I can just completely move on like this, but it's just how I operate. Lastly, I opted for the silent treatment because the other option was me telling her that All of this stress was due to her inability to control the dogs, essentially, telling her that it was her fault, but I know that she didn't need that on top of her trauma and guilt towards her parents. Which brings me to part 2. I took a trip out of town for 2 days for work, and when I came back, I was completely normal, as mentioned above. It was the combo of missing her and me moving on and not worrying about the dog anymore. Now, she's being cold towards me, and I'm thinking that she's mad because I was mad for so long, and then was just acting like everything was okay. And before you ask, yes, we talked about it and settled on to agree to disagree. And I was ultimately fine with the outcome, even though I didn't agree with what happened with Abby. Come the next day, she has a party with her girlfriends, and before she goes, she wants to talk. So we talk, and she's giving me nothing but hypotheticals about how she's worried I won't support her with this, and that in the future, and one topic was that if she was pregnant and got a fetus deletus, that I wouldn't be okay with it and break up with her. In which I responded that regardless of me breaking up with her, I would be there to support her through it, but she ultimately had to do what was best for her. I'm pro-choice, but think that the father has to at least be made aware before. The conversation ended, and I could tell that she wasn't happy with the outcome, but she left to her party, and we went on with it. 2 days later, she is sick, which didn't surprise me because she was sick while I was out of town, so I thought that maybe she just relapsed. There was a stomach flu going around, so I didn't really question it. Though she looked really rough, but I kept my distance while she was taking care of her because I didn't want to get sick. 5 days later, she tells me that we need to talk, and I'm a little nervous, but I asked if she was going to break up with me, and she said no, plus we had some pending things like our lease coming up, so I figured she just wanted to hash out the details of our next steps. She's still being a little cold, but it's expected. I know her well enough, so I don't put any extra attention on that. Then she tells me that she had a deletion last weekend, which is why she was sick. We talked, and I know that I hit her the hardest when I told her that I wasn't upset about it. I was upset that she didn't include me in her decision, which is true, and her excuse was that we weren't in a good place. You weren't talking to me, so I didn't feel like I could tell you now. I've been dating this girl for 5 years. I a little cold shoulder, and she all of a sudden feels like she can't talk to me about something this serious? You bet your butt that she'd tell me if a family member died or something else like that serious. I call absolute BS, but this is ultimately why I'm here asking for questions. I don't know if all of the above is a valid reason for her not telling me and including me. Event time of the clarity, the dog attack was 2.5 months ago. Me being a dong and giving the cold shoulder for 2 to 3 weeks ago, was 2 or 3 weeks ago. The deletion was a week ago. She let me know this week about it. I had the dog in boarding and training the day after the attack to respect her feelings and trauma. The dog spent 1.5 months in training. Then, when she made it clear that she didn't want the dog, was when I shut down. So, tell me Reddit if you're still here, would I be the a-hole for leaving my girlfriend after she had a deletion without telling me? And thank you for reading the absolute wall of text. The fact you're asking that question is a bit of a red flag, very much so. You took something that is very much a what would you do if I did this thing, and you're asking Reddit, should I go and actually do it? That's at least what it's sounding like from how you're wording it here. And, your partner leaving you because you decided to do something, very much definitely something that can get in your head and mess with your mind, get you a little stressed and everything over it all. Yeah, so I can understand why somebody giving you the cold shoulder, you would be a little nervous and not be too eager to talk to them about stuff, huh? Am I the a-hole for staying up late to eat crackers? My girlfriend, F22, of almost 3 years, told me that she has been losing respect for me, M23, because of my irresponsibility. This was prompted with my actions of staying up later than I should have on a work night, because I was going to make crackers and cheese before bed. but I got caught on a limited time event in a mobile game that I play. I was only on my phone for around 50 minutes. In the middle of me playing, my girlfriend asked me why I couldn't play tomorrow, and telling me, we need to go to bed soon, can we please make our snacks now? I felt really rushed and hurt, and I didn't want to explain to her that it was a limited time event, so I just decided to finish my whole event in that 50 minutes. I finally got up to go make the snack, as it was only 30 minutes past when I was supposed to be asleep, and that's when she tells me, this is why I feel like I'm losing respect for you. You're not very responsible. I was really upset, and this might be where I'm the a-hole. I told her that she is annoying, and that she doesn't get to dictate how I spend my time before work. She replied that she also has to get up early too, and doesn't like missing sleep because of her chronic health condition thing, and that I never care about making her feel comfortable before work. She works so early in the morning that I usually just go back to sleep, and there's not really any time to do anything, so I don't understand. And complaining that I don't do chores or cook, even though I would if she just told me what she needed done. To end it, I said, whatever, you're not gonna listen to me anyways, I'm done talking to you, good night. Then we just wordlessly went to sleep. It's been a day and a half and she hasn't spoken to me much, and says that she is waiting for an apology and to talk about it. I don't think I went over the line, and I don't think there's really that much to talk about. I'm still so hurt that she would say that she doesn't respect me. Reddit, am I the a-hole? You really need to ask that question? Edit, I do some chores without communicating with her, but she is very particular about how she likes the house to be, and I'm just not as picky. What you've been saying about doing it without asking makes sense. I just fear that I'll do it wrong. Thank you all for commenting. Have you tried asking her what would be a good version of doing the chores? Then maybe work off of that, I don't frickin' know. Because if anything, it very much sounds like you're making a very half-assed effort when actually doing any of the chores, if you actually are doing them. Also, look, time-gated event or not, 50 minutes is not going to be the end-all things. Like, it's, like, look, if it's the last 50 minutes of the event before it resets to whatever the next thing is, yeah, you kind of messed it up, because if you're having to put a mobile game out in front of your sleep as more of a priority than actually getting to bed so you can go to work in the morning, that's a bit of a problem there. Like, oh, it's only 30 minutes after that. Okay, so it's 30 minutes after that, plus whatever time it takes for you to make whatever that snack is you want to make, plus the time it takes for you to eat, and then plus the time it takes you to get ready for bed. You're probably looking about another hour and a half, 2 minutes, or 2 hours before, going to sleep outside of the normal time that you wanted to have. Am I the a-hole for not knowing exactly what my wife meant by saying our son is acting goofy? I, male, 38M years old, have been married to my wife, 37F years old, for about 10 years. We've been going through a rough patch for the past year, and things are extremely tense. I have been trying very hard to make her happy, but I seem to always miss the mark for one reason or another. Tonight was no different. My wife and I were having a discussion regarding our oldest son, 17M, and his bullying of our youngest son, 12M. Well, after the conversation and my son leaving the room, she stated that she is not happy about the way that he treated him. I replied, I agree, and thought that that was it. She then said very ambiguously, he is acting goofy. I was not certain exactly what she was referencing, so I asked, how so? And she just gave me this disgusted face and said, just goofy. When he tried to ask her to give me some examples, I was met with more disgusted faces and a statement from her that she can't say anything to me about it being a whole thing. She then informed me that she could not even have this conversation with me. I simply said, okay, and was about to give her space when she just sort of snapped. Started heading up the stairs, ranting about how she will go search his room, maybe for substances of sorts, because I won't man up. I then tried to explain that I don't mind going to talk to him. I was just not sure specifically what she wanted me to look into based solely off of the comment of him acting goofy. She then proceeded to tell me that I am just impossible, and she just doesn't get why I always need her to hold my hand. I am really trying to be better communicating, and more specifically, hearing her and addressing her needs. However, I feel sometimes her standards is that I am a mind reader. So, am I the a-hole for not knowing exactly what she meant and not being able to take the exact action she expected me to when all that had to go down was he was acting goofy? Update, to clarify, the issue with the bullying he already had been resolved and action was taken. That's when my son exited the room. This interaction took place after it was all done, and I just had responded to her general statement about her not liking that it happened. One of the comments on the post stated that it actually addresses the whole thing pretty well, so yeah, this was that comment. So, things have deteriorated to the point that past hurts are counting in different current discussions. Probably despite the best intentions of you both, you likely both resolve to not do whatever, get angry, be inconsiderate, whatever, but in the moment, that resolve is lost to the bad feelings of the last 12 months. To be fair, it's probably years longer than that. Much as you are trying to analyze this one example and make yourself innocently blameless in it, you can't be, because it takes two people to argue. The way you talk about her being ambiguous and making disgusted faces represents how you wish to have been seen in this interaction. She was ranting. Yeah, compare this to you trying to explain and simply saying, and therefore being meekly innocent. The fact is that this interaction builds on all of the last, and neither of you got it right. If you really want to sort this one interaction out, there's your clue. The older is bullying the younger. I don't understand how you were both having a conversation, and when the older kid left the room, was he not included and was just listening? So both parents are unhappy that their kid is bullying of his own siblings, right? Yet you, replied, I agree, and thought that was it. Well, no. That was just the start. You then needed to take immediate action, discuss, and agree on a way forward. What discipline was to be implemented? How would you each parent this? How will you support the younger boy, or to not carry this into adulthood? And more. You simply said that you agree. You see the clue? Your wife also didn't just want your agreement. She wanted action. She wanted you to take action. Presumably, you have a pattern of not taking action on important things. Remember, this interaction is built on past hurts. Yeah, you're the a-hole for being deliberately obtuse. You didn't outline any actions you will be taking to immediately stop the older child from bullying the younger. Instead, you think the important part of the entire incident was your wife being ambiguous, making disgusted faces, and ranting while you are sweetly wondering what to do, so you got all hurt again. Yeah, you didn't really actually take anything regarding physical action towards stopping the bullying. All you said is, we need to look more into it. You couldn't just say, hey, stop bullying your sibling, or I'm gonna take your phone away, or stuff like that. I'm gonna turn off the internet to your devices specifically. Not anything to actually stop the bullying, just the whole, oh, he's acting goofy. With your response then being something along the lines of, okay, what do you want me to do? Am I the a-hole for making my friend drive back home during a road trip because I didn't want to stay overnight? So, I was on a road trip with a few friends this past weekend. We were supposed to drive out to this small town and grab some food and check out a couple of spots, and then head back the same day. Simple enough. While we were there, we stumbled across this bar that had a live band playing, and my friends got super into it. They wanted to stick around, grab some drinks, and make a night out of it. Admittedly, I was super into the idea too, because it was very much up my alley. The thing is, none of us had planned to stay overnight. We didn't pack anything, and the plan was always to go home afterwards. They started talking about just booking a cheap motel in walking distance, and staying the night so that we could just keep hanging out. I immediately said I wasn't cool with that because I can't sleep unless I'm in my own pajamas. And I didn't bring them. It's just how I am. And I figured since this was a day trip, it wouldn't be an issue. They tried convincing me to just go with it and stay the night, but I wasn't budging. I said that if someone drove me to a store before they close, I would be happy to buy some PJs, but nothing nearby was open. I said someone could stay sober as the designated driver, but none of them wanted to do that. I don't have a license, so I couldn't be the designated driver. They just offered to not make the trip in a hotel, which was nice. But I was wearing a nice shirt and jeans, aka clothes that I could not sleep in. In the end, since I can't drive, they all had to pack it up and head home with me. The whole ride back was awkward. None of them really said anything, but I could tell they were pissed. Now, I feel like the bad guy for just not going along with the change of plans, but honestly, I just didn't want to be stuck somewhere overnight without my stuff. So, am I the a-hole? Yeah, you made everybody drive home just because you didn't have your jammies. I don't think that needs to be elaborated on, really. But with that, that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. And I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!